Today, I'm going to be showing you the best settings in the finals, as well as showing you my own settings so you could see what might be holding you back. I have over 1,000 hours in the finals and have peaked Diamond 1, so I know what I'm talking about. Okay, so right off the bat, we're on the gameplay tab. We're going to go to general and we're going to see this tab here on the general tab. Region, always keep this on automatic for the lowest ping. Crossplay, I have it on. I think everyone knows what crossplay is. I don't really see a big difference in controller versus mouse and keyboard, so I like to keep crossplay on. Also, but it helps with queue time, so might as well have it on. Instant replay. Okay, so if you have a good system, I recommend keeping instant replay on, but this feature can use a significant amount of system memory, so if you don't have a good computer, then turn this off. But I do keep this on because I do play against a lot of cheaters, so this is a good way to see if they're cheating or not. Auto sprint, I always have auto sprint on because I don't see why you wouldn't want to sprint. Like, why would you want to have a delay before you could sprint, you know? So I don't see why I would need that. Auto sprint, always have that on. Melee aim assist, okay, this one is controversial. Some people like it off and some people like it on. I like having it on because here's how it works. When you melee someone, so the moment that you press your melee key, it locks onto them and you get a guaranteed melee most of the time, right? But if you have it off, then you have to fully track them while you're swinging. So I just like having it on because it's easier to hit melees with it. And yeah. Now on the interface tab, enemy team colors, always have it on so you can differentiate between teams. Max player tag size, I like to have this on the lowest as possible. I know some people like it bigger, but I like it where it's at because I mean, I think 100% is big enough to see. Item input hints, this doesn't really matter. I guess this is for new players. Tutorial hints doesn't matter. This doesn't matter. Okay, in-world crosshair. I've heard from a lot of people that in-world crosshair moves your crosshair, so I like to keep this off. If you see in-world crosshair, turn it off. And now to my crosshair. So these are my crosshair settings. You could slow down the video if you need to copy them. And basically, this is how crosshairs work. So a bigger crosshair makes it easier for you to track. They're better for reactive tracking, but a smaller crosshair is better for precision. So find what works for you. So the rule of thumb is if you already have good aim, then a smaller crosshair is usually better, so you have more precision. But if your aim is not very good, then a bigger crosshair will make it easier to track people. Find what works for you. I keep my crosshair pretty small because I already have decent aim, and it's easier for me when my crosshair is smaller because I like a little more precision in my crosshair. And controller, I don't play controller, so I have no idea what any of this means. Social, so starting off with the chat tab, voice chat. Okay, this is just voice chat and like all your system settings. But I mean, I guess you could see what equipment I use. I use this microphone, a Fine K688, and I use Razer Black Shark V2 Pro headphones. That's the equipment that I use. But anyway, text chat, have it on. This is just all personal preference and pretty self-explanatory as well. Anonymous mode, okay, here's the thing. If you're getting griefed out a lot, or if people know your name, like if you are a top player and you get recognized by a lot of streamers or pros, then I recommend turning this on. But if you're like me and you want people to fear your name, so whenever they see your name, they're gonna be like, oh, it's that guy, then have it off so people actually see your name. Like, imagine the aura after beating a team and they see your name. It's better to have it on, but I like having it off so they could just see my name and see who beat them, you know? Like, I just think that's aura. Streamer mode, you know, this is for streaming and all that. I feel like if you're a streamer, you would already know what these settings mean. Okay, now I've gotten a lot of questions about my keybinds, so here it is. First of all, my sensitivity is 450 DPI on 31 in-game, and I always have my multiplier at 100%, so it's the same sensitivity. Look and zoom in. Scope, you can make it anything you want, whatever you like. I like having it usually lower at 25. Focal, I don't recommend having this on. Yeah, I don't know. I just recommend having it off. I heard that there's a lot of issues with your sensitivity or your mouse like glitching or like your crosshair glitching. Also, mouse invert vertical look input, always have this on. I don't know why I have this off. Put this on, your aim will be so much better. I promise you. Please turn this setting on. Turn on mouse invert vertical look input. Please turn it on. But now here are my movement or my keybinds. All right, so WASD, obviously. Everyone asks me the question, how do I jump? Here is how I jump. I scroll down. Now, the reason I scroll down is because I used to play Valorant and Apex, and in those games, you need to bunny hop a lot. Having your jump bind to scroll wheel down makes it easier to time your jumps. So instead of timing your spacebar on every jump, you could just scroll down and not have to worry about timing it. So that's why I have it on scroll wheel down, because I'm just used to it from previous games. So also your sprint, I have auto sprint on, right? Like, okay, so you know when you get wiped and you're in that free cam mode and you can like fly around the map, your sprint key will allow you to move faster while you're in the free cam. Specialization, okay, here's the thing. Since I play light dash, you need to be able to dash while shooting. The reason why I have this on left shift is so that I could shoot while dashing pretty much. I used to have it on my mouse button, but the thing is, if I click my mouse button while aiming, it messes up my aim. So I have to have it on a keyboard key instead of a mouse key so that I could left shift while I'm using my mouse to aim. So always, if you play light dash, always have your specialization on a keyboard key. Reload R, obviously. Ping 5. Now, I've just kind of gotten used to this. I feel like there are more important keys in the game, so that take priority over ping, so I just have it at 5. Obviously it's not the easiest to reach, but you know, I'm used to it, so I keep it at 5. Quick melee F, because it's a quick melee, you need to be able to quickly press it. Crouch, I have it on hold. I'm just used to crouch on hold. Left control, obviously, I think everyone does that. Inspect, I have it on N, so I can click it with my thumb. Expression, I don't really care. I don't know. Weapon, I use C. I can quickly press C with my index finger, and I can quickly press Q with my ring finger. Okay, I have the second ability bound to spacebar because I don't have any other keys left, so I have spacebar bound to gadget 2, because since I already jump with scroll wheel, I could use spacebar for a free key, and it's just gonna be gadget 2. Gadget 3, Z, because I could quickly press it with my ring finger, and everything else is pretty self-explanatory. It just comes down to preference for all the other stuff. But yeah, those are my mouse and keyboard settings. Now we're gonna go to accessibility, and honestly, I'm just used to the default colors, so I just have it on default. I don't really see any advantage of like switching around your color settings, doing some crazy like treats and Enopia, whatever you call it. I just have it on default. It looks fine. Doesn't really give you an advantage. Audio, I think the default music volume in this game is super loud, so make sure you have it low, and then everything else is self-explanatory, but make sure you have your sound effects at 100% so you can hear footsteps. So commentator volume, I have it at 30 because sometimes, you know, they'll give valuable information throughout the game. Like for example, let's say a team opens Vault 5 and the commentator will go, oh, Vault 5 has been opened, so then I'll know that Vault 5 has been opened. So I have it on 30, not too loud, but you know, it still gives me some information throughout the game that I might not notice. Dialogue volume, I have it at 40 because, for example, if your team pings something, your character will be like, oh, enemy over there.
Enemy spotted. Spotted an enemy. Enemy over there. Enemy spotted. Got a contestant.
So it will give you information without your teammate having to say it on the call. Output mode, okay, stereo. I have it on stereo because so you can tell where your footsteps are coming from. Night mode, okay, the night mode's actually pretty good. So what night mode does is that it makes footsteps louder and gunshots quieter. So I've used night mode for a while, and I'm not gonna lie, it does actually help. The game sounds worse on night mode, but your footsteps will be louder. Night mode is worth trying out. At least try out night mode. It might be good. You might like it. Music, I have all of them on. They all sound good. Video. Okay, on video, here's the thing. A lot of people say, oh, borderless full screen is super good. I don't like borderless full screen. It makes my game stutter randomly and my crosshair like glitches all over the place. You know, my mouse just feels like it's on a different sensitivity when I'm on borderless full screen. So I like keeping it on exclusive full screen. This just feels the most smooth for me, and it makes the game look so much sharper, and it doesn't stutter. So if you're noticing micro stutters and inconsistencies in your aim, then I recommend turning on exclusive full screen. Display resolution, do whatever is native to your monitor. 1440p. Okay, frame generation, turn this off, bro. Basically, it increases your FPS, but there's like a huge input delay from when you move your mouse to your actual screen. So I do not recommend having this on. It feels like you're swinging your camera around, if that makes sense. Instead of moving it with your mouse, it feels like it's swinging across the screen as you move your mouse. Like, it's very delayed. Okay, so if you get a lot of screen tearing, then sure, turn on VSync. But other than that, I just have it off. I don't really get much screen tearing, so I don't really need it. But if you get screen tearing, turn it on. Okay, anti-lag. My experience using using anti-lag, it added random stutters to my game. So yeah, I just don't use any of these AMD settings. It adds random stutters to my game, adds random input lag to my game. I don't like it. So just keep it off. It feels the best that way for me. And then frame limit. Okay, if you're not capping your frames, then you're throwing pretty much. So what frame limit does is that it caps your frames. And why this is important is because, like, let's say you have it at unlimited, you're just gonna overuse your GPU. You don't need unlimited frames. What you should cap it at is based off of your monitor's refresh rate. My monitor is 144 hertz, so I'm gonna cap it at 144 or as close as I can get to it, so 145. Let's say you have a 240 hertz monitor, you'd cap it at 240. If you have a 360 hertz monitor, cap it at 360. If you have a 60 hertz monitor, cap it at 60. You know, so just go off of your monitor's refresh rate. There's no point of getting more FPS than your monitor's refresh rate because your monitor can't display those extra frames that you're getting. So if you have it above your monitor's refresh rate, you're just creating stress on your GPU for no reason. Resolution, scaling, anti-aliasing. I have mine on no AA because someone told me that it helps you see invis people more clearly. And it's true. It's so much easier to see invis lights on no AA. If you don't have a good system, CAAU is the easiest to run. And then obviously you can change the render resolution to how good your GPU is. But if you have a good GPU and you have a good system and you could sacrifice a little bit of performance, then I recommend turning on no AA so you could see invis lights much more clearly. Field of view, I have it on 100, but just do whatever you're used to. I'm used to 100, but you could change it to whatever you want. Field of view controls how much of the game that you could see. If you turn it down, then the game's going to be more zoomed in, but if you turn it to 100, your vision will be more zoomed out, if that makes sense. So I like keeping it at 100 so I could see more of the game, and also I'm just used to 100 as well. Ray tracing, I have it on static because it lags my PC if I have it anything above that. So everything I have it on low, but I do have a good system, so I like keeping texture on epic. It looks nice. I like it. But other than that, if you want the absolute lowest settings and everything, turn everything on low and turn this to static for the most competitive settings. But it really just comes down to how good your system is. And then in-game performance overlay, I have this on detailed so I could see how much FPS I'm getting. So that's gonna be all my settings for the finals. And also, if you have any questions or I didn't cover something in this video or I gave wrong information on anything, then please comment. Before I click off this video, I could see how many people subscribe to each specific video. So if you subscribe, it will show me that you guys want to see more kinds of these videos. Also, if you want to help out with making these videos or you just want to chat with the community, then I put the Discord link in the comments.